Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to an incredibly special interview we have tonight. We're pivoting away from the Wheel and Chill show just for a week. We finished the Rings of Power last week, and I don't know what's on the horizon, but for now, today, I'll be interviewing two of my very good friends who I managed to convince to read The Wheel of Time. So, feeling pretty good about that. I am going to say right out of the gate, we're not going to spoil anything past book 2, not even in the chat, because I think we've got some first-time readers in the chat too. So everybody be careful. Heed the spoiler warning. We're talking books 1 and 2 only, and everybody get pumped. So as usual, I'm going to let my guests introduce themselves. We've got Tony and Will here with us today, and as I said, they're my very good friends, so be nice. I mean, I know you will.
Be nice.
I know you will, but be nice, okay? We lured them in, and I don't want to scare them away. So, Tony, would you like to go first?
Sure. My name is Tony. I'm a lawyer. I went to school out in California, and now I'm in St. Louis.
Amazing. Okay, what do you like to do for fun in your free time other than read?
I've been learning how to play video games. I'm not good yet, but I'm learning how. I'm currently playing The Witcher 3.
Nice.
I've now made it to the expansion. It's not Heart of Stone. What's the one?
Blood and Wine.
Blood and Wine. I'm on the Blood and Wine expansion. I'm getting better, but I am not good.
Okay, well, that's awesome. I have if you want to answer, but feel free not to. Carrie John in the chat asks, where did you go to school in California? Apparently, maybe we have a Californian in the chat.
So I went to community college for the first 2 years, and then I went to UCLA for the last 2 years.
Nice. So you liked it there?
I loved it. UCLA is a great school.
Awesome.
I was a philosophy major, and they have a really fantastic philosophy department.
That's great. Okay, Will, why don't you go ahead?
I'm Will. I also play video games more than Tony does. I've been coaching her on stuff. So.
He is good.
I'm not that good, but she is better than she thinks she is.
Excellent.
And watching movies and TV and stuff. Was enjoying, on the fantasy side of things, enjoying the House of the Dragon show.
Yeah, that's right.
And
I've been screaming at the House of the Dragon show. Like, enjoying it, but, yelling at the screen a lot.
Oh, same. The season finale was something else. Not gonna lie. Lots of lots. No. We're not gonna spoil that either. Who knows? Who knows who has seen it? So I think I said this on Twitter today, but just in case you guys weren't following every single thing I did on Twitter, you haven't watched the Wheel of Time show, correct?
That's correct.
Do you intend to at any point?
Eventually,
I feel like I have to
guess.
now. I'm more enthusiastic about watching the show. I feel like Will thinks he's going to get spoiled or something, or it'll influence the way that you see the characters.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
Yeah, it's not so much that I'm afraid of getting spoiled, it's that, and I had this with Game of Thrones too, that I read the books before watching the show, and I liked having the characters be how I imagined the characters to be. Yeah. And then as soon as I watch the show, it's like, now when I picture, Jon Snow, I'm picturing Kit Harington. I'm not picturing
that's fair.
How I was picturing the character when I read the books the first time.
That's fair. Yeah, I have read The Wheel of Time many times, and now I feel like I'll definitely at least picture Rosamund Pike as Moiraine, because I just feel like, that's excellent. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so maybe watching the show eventually, but not yet, so that we've got our baseline.
I have seen the trailers, so I know Rosamund Pike is Moiraine.
Agnes here. He likes to harass me while I'm streaming. He's basically the star of the show. At least that's what everybody thinks. Okay, so let's start with what got you to finally agree to read The Wheel of Time. Like, what was the the last straw? Was it just me bothering you?
I feel like you already spoiled that. It was you. Okay. And the fact that you became like a TikTok influencer or whatever, and it's like, well, now shit, I I gotta read it. Also, seeing your awesome setup in your house and having all the books, I was like, well, it's gotta be pretty good, right?
Yeah, I have a lot of versions of the books at this point. We've got hardbacks behind me, the paperbacks also behind me. Yeah, I'm a big fan. So tell me how you guys have been reading it, because I think this is actually adorable.
So, I'm not much of a cook, and Tony is. And our sort of division of labor is that I will entertain her by reading things to her while she is cooking to prepare meals. So we did I guess, did we start doing that with Blood Meridian?
I think it was Blood Meridian,
We did
yes.
Blood Meridian, and then we did the His Dark Materials trilogy.
Yeah!
I love those.
Before moving to Wheel of Time. So we've read the first two Wheel of Time. I have read the first two Wheel of Time books aloud while Tony is cooking, basically.
Okay. Jessica Sadai in the chat says, that's adorable. I agree.
It's really great. It's like having your own personal audiobook, and it's really fun. And it makes cooking even better. Like, I already like cooking, but it makes it feel better. Makes it more fun.
And I don't have to cook.
It's a win-win all around. So Tony, because he does voices, right? What's your favorite voice that he does?
Okay. So there's two of my favorite voices that are basically tied.
Okay.
And that is Padan Fane and Ben Mon.
And okay, Bail Doman. All right, can we hear?
Also
yeah.
him.
Yeah, but she was saying Balsamon.
Balsamon.
Oh, Balsamon. Okay, it's not the I might
be saying it wrong
okay.
because we don't know because we didn't watch the show.
Yeah.
So,
fair enough.
Yeah, my pronunciation on certain things I know is wrong. But
I've told him that it's Aja and he pronounces it
Aja.
Aja.
We'll say the red Aja instead of red Aja.
Okay.
I think my pronunciation for Kerheim goes all over the place all the time.
That makes you very relatable. Like I say Kari and I don't even know for sure if that's right. And then whenever you add like Karienen, like the people on top of it, it gets chaotic for sure. So question, can I hear one of those things?
Yeah.
What do you want to share with us?
Let's see, the Balsamon, because it's easier to do with Balsamon just because it's like his lines are pretty much all the same, so I can think like off the top maybe be like,
sure.
They'd be like, you are my news, Theron. You belong to me. You will serve me or die, and in death serve me still. That sort of stuff.
Yes, absolutely yes. That was incredible. Go ahead.
The Padan Fane voice, because there's a lot more Padan Fane in this book where he's or in the second book where he's like. It seems like he's losing, and it just sort of I can't. I'm not sure I can do it off the top of my head without
it's
something.
not over.
Like,
it's not over.
It's never over, Randolph. It never ends. I'll meet you on Toman Head. That sort of thing.
I love that. We've got people saying, I need somebody to read The Wheel of Time to me. It's true.
Yes.
It's true.
You do. It's really good.
Somebody says, the door is ajar. The pronunciations I've given everyone. Like, if you don't start with the audiobooks, it's a running joke. That was actually my first, mildly viral TikTok was somebody was like, what name in the Wheel of Time blew your mind when you found out how it was pronounced? And for me, it was Nynaeve. Like, how do you...
I was going to say,
how do you pronounce it?
Is not at all. So I don't, because I'm not reading the book, he's reading it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have...
You don't have it spelled.
I don't have it spelled in my head, but when I did first see Nynaeve written, I was like, what the F? Like, that's, no, it's just not. But I'm going with it because after we read the book, we finally found out that there's a glossary in the back.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, and how it says, so I go with it.
I love that. For me, it was Nineveh. For some reason, there was a lot of use of the vowels, but whatever, it's fine. So have you now seen how they're all spelled, like all of them, or just some of them, or
I think I've seen most of the spellings. Not all of them though.
Okay, nice.
I think most of them are spelled. Like I've seen Egwene, and that is not spelled right either. Like nothing's.
She was God, for me, she was Egwene. She was Egwene, which I didn't like. I was like, that is the ugliest name ever, and she ends up being my favorite character. Egwene is so much better.
It should just be spelled correctly.
It should. Speaking of my favorite character, and I see you guys all in the chat. Thank you for being here. Y'all are amazing. Who do you like the best so far? Who are your favorite characters?
You go first.
I have to go first. Right now it might be Padon Fane.
Okay.
I could be
just as a like. I think it's not like in like, oh, I'm rooting for Padon Fane or anything.
Sure.
But in like I think it's interesting. Like I like the like, okay, he's all messed up because of being a dark friend, and the Dark One did like horrible things to him, and then he's exposed to this like different evil that has also corrupted him. So he's like sort of broken from the Dark One, but is also he's just like but he's not like totally controlled by the Shadow Logoth thing. But it's just like he's all messed up, and I think it's fun.
Compelling. Okay, fair. That actually, because somebody on Twitter was like, ask them who their favorite character is, and then who their favorite characters outside of the Ebensfield 5, which is the 5 main characters. If like that's the terminology is the EF5 or the Ebensfield 5, which is Rand, Perrin, Matt, Nynaeve, and Egwene.
Okay.
So yours is already answered, I guess. Padon Fane, who's your favorite in the EF5 then? I guess.
Probably Perrin.
Yeah.
I wish there had been more Perrin stuff in the second book.
Yeah.
So I like the wolf stuff.
Yes.
I liked Elias also as a character.
Elias is my favorite characters for sure. I love Elias. Also, his voice for Elias is amazing.
I've been giving Elias sort of a like stereotypical Canadian accent, sort of nice sort of thing.
Like a trapper.
Yeah, we're usually like oot and a boot kind of.
Do you see any wolves out there?
Sorry,
I can't even. Some people in the chat are telling you when you'll be getting a lot more Perrin. It's relatively soon, so you can look forward to more Perrin. A lot of people who watched the first season of the show had the same thing, where they're like, "We want more Perrin." We'll get there. Okay, Tony, what about you? So,
it's a question of like what kind of favorite you mean. Okay. So. So I always love it when Padon Fane or Balsamon come into the show, because then Will gets to read the best. But then, like, if you want to talk about, like, I feel like Matt and Perrin would be my best friends.
Yeah.
I love them both for different reasons. Perrin is really sweet, and I love the whole... what's it called that he can speak to? Wolf Brother?
Wolf Brother, yeah.
Okay, I love that. I don't know. It's definitely not Rand, weirdly.
I think that's universal almost. It's definitely not Rand.
I feel like Rand is fairly flat as...
He feels like a Skyrim character. Like he's your Sky... He's
sort of Cypher.
Yeah.
He's kind of a plot device at times, but...
Yeah.
I really love Moraine.
Yeah.
Moraine is really fun, but we haven't gotten a lot of her in this book. So I super miss Lan and Moraine. I also love Loyal too.
Oh yeah.
That's a good
I love
good
Loyal. I can't choose. I like them all in different ways for different reasons. Like, all I know is that Rand is not my favorite, but I really like all of the characters. I feel like they mesh well together and they do different things.
Yeah, that's one thing. Like, I'm a big character girly. Like, I read the first book of this fantasy series called Malazan, Book of the Fallen, and it was like, the world was so unique and all this other stuff, and everyone was like, the magic, it's awesome. But, like, to me, they just dropped you in, so I didn't really care that much about the characters, and so even though everyone's like, oh, it's some of the best fantasy, I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not super into it. So far, do you have any regrets? do you anticipate finishing the series so far?
Oh, no regrets.
Okay.
God. How many books is it?
Yeah, I do have misgivings when it's like I'm enjoying this, and there's 11 more of these.
Hey, that's just a good time. Like a longer good time. Yeah, there's 14 and a prequel.
So,
5 of those.
There's 11,000 pages each one. It feels like, you should be fine with that. But
yeah,
it is a lot.
Yeah. It is a lot, but no regrets yet. That's good.
No,
that's good
no, I've been enjoying.
So I guess one thing that people were wondering is, do you have so those are your favorite characters? Do you have a plot or something that happened? Was there a moment, I guess, in the books that kind of hooked you and you were like, oh yeah, let's keep going? This was fun. I like this now.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of because I remember when starting the first book, I had misgivings fairly early on because there's a lot of proper nouns and
Yeah.
a lot of yeah, they're hanging around Edensfield, not a lot's happening.
Yeah.
It might have been when the Trollocs first show up and it's okay, there's actually some action taking place. And I feel
the Trollocs thing was pretty interesting. I remember, was that Beltane?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that one was good.
And not in terms of a moment that hooked me early on, but the stuff at the end of the second book with the Falme, right? That's the name of the town.
Falme, yeah, with the Shan Chan.
Yeah, with everything happening at once and every.
Oh yeah, that was really
the Children of the Light attacking and Rand going in and Egwene and
that was very
Nynaeve
exciting.
doing their escape thing.
But I feel like earlier on in the book, what was it where? Oh, it was something with Karen is going on. Oh, no. It's the Padan Fane comes in with they're in the
when they're in the
what's those places? The
Faldar.
Ways.
Oh yeah.
They're in the Ways. That's very because they're on a chase. That seemed cool. I like that. And then the whole thing, that Rand is going to do, or not Rand, that Matt is going to do the dumbest effing thing. And he does, and it's fun. I like that. I thought that was good. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed that. I was more, I think, because I've been watching a whole lot of new, or a lot of TV shows that apparently everybody else in the world has seen, and I've been more relaxed about, Blood Meridian kind of starts out strong, but it kind of even keels for a while. I just try to, I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for it,
mm-hmm.
and see how this unravels, because if this many people like it, it's got to be pretty good. So I'm just gonna hang in there. So I was not too turned off by the initial slowness of the books. I was like, they're just introducing characters, it's fine.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so somebody asked if you could ballpark the ages of the protagonists. Do you know how old they are?
They're kids, they're teenagers.
Yeah, I guess I think of them as being late teens.
Yeah, okay. 17-ish.
Yeah, that's so Egwene is around that age, and the boys are 19-ish.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nynaeve seems a little older.
She
might be 20, 21.
I think she's 25 technically. I'm trying. Okay. She's she's a little older for sure.
None of them are full adults. Full adulthood happens at about 25, but they feel Nynaeve feels like she's just about maybe full adulthood. And the rest of them seem, late teens.
So how did you feel about the end of The Eye of the World? Because there are a lot of mixed feelings about it. Did you enjoy it? Was it confusing? How did you feel about it?
I think we basically enjoyed it.
Yeah, I liked the end.
I don't remember. I guess I sort of remember that strong. I don't have especially strong feelings about it. Mm-hmm. But there's the thing where he's there's the battle that's happening in the past, and he's sort of teleported into it, and that happens, and sort of I guess it's a little anticlimactic, but I guess it wasn't I don't know.
I didn't know what to
like,
expect, so I thought it was fine. Like, I didn't have ideas about how it should be going in.
I like the Green Man.
I love the Green Man.
Okay.
Yes. And we had just recently watched, what was that movie?
Oh, the Green Knight.
The Green Knight.
Okay.
So it felt perfect because, like, I had the idea in my head. Like, I could basically illustrate it in my mind perfectly.
Yeah, the Green Man for me is kind of like well, I guess, I don't know if either of you actually read The Lord of the Rings, but he's kind of like the Tom Bombadil for me, how he just, like, shows up and is like, what are you? Like, what is going on here? Like, this is super fantasy, where before it was, like, fantasy, but not, like, crazy fantasy. So that's funny that you like him. I like him too. Are there any things that you think you've picked up on that are, like, foreshadowing? Like, do you, like, sense something, anything, like, coming? Are you anticipating anything based on any, like, foreshadowing you've picked up?
I feel like we were through these, but, like, internally in the books, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about going forward, what expectations I have off the top of my head. I mean, there's obviously fairly explicit stuff about, like, oh, you know, Min and Elaine and Egwene, and they're all tied to Rand. And
Right. Yeah, all the
everybody's Rand sexual.
I'm personally pansexual, but that's just me. Like, he's my fictional husband and has been since I was, like, 15. So,
I approve.
But yeah, I'm not sure. There's some stuff where, like,
Padon Fane, like, I feel like you saw him.
Yeah, that was another thing that before they make it more explicit, they're like, oh yeah, he was like the dagger has more. There's so many different fantasy things that have some version of, like, more goth, more death,
it's more death,
Druth,
and this one is more death. Yeah,
more door. Yeah, that was something that I picked up on fairly early on. I was like, okay, it's like, oh, like, this is zigzagging in the pattern and of when they're following them. It's like, oh, it's like there's a different force that is taking control here. Mm-hmm. But I liked. We definitely never suspected anything bad about Celine. We thought she was on the level.
Yeah, I remember that.
He who's here to help. And,
who is totally in love with Rand. And I was like, this.
And she makes me feel funny things when I see her.
We can be powerful. Like, seize it and we can have power. Yeah, like, totally normal.
You just have to get the horn. Then you can have everything. Like, yeah, he seems totally on the level and completely cool.
Two Rivers Badger asks, what do you think, if you have any, like, just any kind of prediction, will happen in book 3? What do you anticipate next?
Well, apparently, based on the cover, Rand finally effing I guess kind of does at the end. Yeah, at least Rand is not living in a sea of denial anymore. Let me see.
I feel there's got to be some Children of the Light stuff, because like, you have Child Bayar going back, like, witnessing what happens and thinking that, like, going to think that it's all their fault and the Aes Sedai are behind it all and stuff. And going back to tell the rest of the Children of the Light about that.
Yeah. Because you get that thing at the end, like, his last regret was that he wouldn't get the message to his son and everything.
Yeah, because it's in the fog.
Yeah.
But I think that, like, the very end, there's a thing with, like, Bayar watching it and being like, oh, the Aes Sedai are behind it all, and then going back to talk to. I assume we haven't seen the last of the Seanchan.
That's a safe assumption.
Yeah. Who I like as an antagonistic force, even though, like, they're really awful.
I did not see that coming. How bad they were. Like, I knew that they were bad early on. I was like, fuck these guys. Sorry, excuse me. But
fine. Okay. Go ahead.
But then at the end of the second book, it goes from, like, oh, they were bad too. Oh my God, monsters! I will kill them all. Like, I would drop a bomb on the Seanchan cat. I would kill all of them immediately. Like, these people cannot be allowed to exist.
I think you're in the right headspace for how terrible they are. As I said, Egwene's my favorite character, and so the things they did to her.
Yeah, no, like, I was I feel like also that was the first time that I was really, because Egwene has been like kind of a side character so far. Didn't feel invest. Yeah, she hasn't had a lot to do yet.
Mm-hmm.
And once the Ciancian capture, I was like, oh, we must save Egwene at all costs. We must save her. I don't know what has to happen, but we gotta go in here and kill everyone.
And Leandrin's got to get got.
Okay,
Yes.
I was just gonna ask you, how do you feel about Leandrin as a character?
Murder her to death.
I also like her as a. One thing I think I like the second book a bit more, and part of that is with this, like with the Ciancian and with Leandrin, having these characters who are bad, but they're not bad at like oh, you know, Balsamond is just, he's the Dark One, he's the embodiment of evil, and the Trollocs are mindless monsters that are the embodiment of evil, and sort of.
Hey, I'm sorry, Will. Narg smart. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Yes. But and to have, you know, people who are like, you know, they think that they're right and they have reasons for doing the things they're doing, and it seems, although I don't know what Leandrin's deal is. I'm a little unsure whether
yeah,
like is she Black Aja, or is there something like what's her deal?
There's no such thing as Black Aja. Didn't you hear that?
Shit.
One more time.
I feel like what she's doing is Black Aja shit, but she claims to be Red Aja, so I don't know, and I'm confused by it.
Well, the Black Aja doesn't exist, so that's the problem. Like, that's, you know, she's red. If you end up watching the show, I think you'll really, really like Leandrin, because she's played by this fabulous actress, Kate Fleetwood, and she is just like delectably like evil. Like, I just want to slap her like every time I see her, but also like just worship the ground she walks on, because she slays. Like, it's so funny how I hate her but I love her at the same time. Yes, Jessica, we are keeping spoilers to nothing past book 2, just a friendly reminder. And Jessica also said, in case you didn't see, I hate doing this because it feels like such a dweeb, but don't forget to like this stream, because it really helps and it pushes it out, and it will get Wheel of Time in front of more eyeballs.
Smash!
Yes, to smash that like button. Yeah, it kind of broke up there. But yeah, Sith Guy says there's no war in Ba Sing Se, and there is no Black Aja. And that's true. That's exactly true. Oh, he also said earlier, which made me laugh, kill them all, even the Empress, may she live forever. So you guys are crushing it as always. Okay, so let's see. Were there any deaths that stood out to you as being good? I don't know how many characters have really died so far. It's not like a ton.
Well, there's Ingtar at the end.
Oh,
okay, that's what I was fishing for. Okay, good.
I literally cried. I cried when the Ingtar died. I was so sad. I was not expecting to be a dark friend. I couldn't believe that. I knew that there was something wrong with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that was another foreshadowing thing that I saw coming of, like,
yeah.
I didn't expect him to have been a dark friend and have been responsible for the events that set the book in motion, but I was like, Ingtar's not coming back from this.
Something's wrong with him. You could tell. Like, you know, if he wants it too badly. The thirst was too strong.
Kind of like Lanfear, or sorry, Celine.
Yeah. Well, that was revealed.
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. I thought it was revealed. No, I felt
he said it at the end.
But I couldn't, because I knew we had seen that name before, but I can't remember when it got introduced earlier.
When did that name first come up?
Lanfear?
Yeah.
If I had to guess, they talked vaguely about the Forsaken, I think, in book 1, like in an abstract way.
Yeah.
I think so. Maybe then, I'm not sure.
I sort of thought that it might have been there's like the chapter where Moraine goes and visits the Brown Aja, who are like the archives or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that might have been when it was, but I don't remember.
It might have been Van Dien and Adelius, I think, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think. Okay. So let's see. What are your favorite storylines so far?
Like I said, like I like the Ciancian stuff.
I think the Ciancian stuff is really captivating. Yeah.
They're
so bad.
They're so bad. They are.
So bad.
Yeah. I like this the Perrin and the Wolf brother stuff.
Yeah. Elias and Perrin, they're my bros.
Yeah.
Love that.
They're like a comforting presence in the story, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I like the Children of the Light too, for the same reasons as like the Sanchin and Leandrin of like, you know, they fucking suck.
Yes.
They also do in the show. Like, they do a really good job of just making you hate them so much. Like, Child Buyer is the frickin' worst.
I feel like I just have a really clear image of like who they are and what they're about.
Yeah.
They feel like the people from The Witcher 3, who are the
witch hunters.
The witch hunters.
Yeah.
They like that. They feel like a terrifying, malevolent, crusadery force.
Yeah, the zealots who are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do 100%.
And you can also sort of like see why. Like, yeah, if you lived in a world that had these people who had this immense amount of power, like maybe you would kind of want to get rid of them. Like,
yeah, no.
Maybe I said I should be destroyed.
Wow, a White Cloak apologist? Is this what's happening right here? Okay.
He likes to be controlled.
That's true. No, I know.
Yeah.
So we have the Empress herself in the chat, Ebony Adom Manis. I just did a stream yesterday with her. We watched episode 2 of the Wheel of Time show. So thank you for showing up. This is awesome. Dana Lou, who says she's looking forward to wolves in the show. Agreed. We got a little bit, but we didn't get a ton. Okay. Julie Schultz on Twitter asks, "What Aja are you? Have you decided? Do you know? I can describe them to you if you don't remember them."
So I literally just wrote down in my little notebook because I wanted to ask this question. So I think I understand some of the Aja, but not all of them.
Okay.
So Reds hate dudes.
They're meant to stop like the negative use of the power, like the corruption of the powers of men who can channel, essentially.
Browns are Ravenclaw, and and greens love dudes. They have all the dudes.
Probably Gryffindor, if we had to like describe them by their Hogwarts house.
Okay, what?
I would have said the Greens were Hufflepuff.
Just because they love dudes.
Well, no, because
they seem nice.
As far as I can tell, they're only characterized as like being sociable and friendly and like having a lot of warders around. In the same way, the Hufflepuff is barely characterized, other than like
fair enough.
They're friendly and like animals.
So the Greens are supposed to be the battle Aja. Their whole purpose is to prepare for the last battle. So
what?
Yeah. So apparently you don't know that yet, but that's what the Greens are generally.
No!
It's not a big spoiler. They're feisty. They have a lot of warders because that's the vibe. Is they're like prepping for the last battle, and having more warders is good for fighting.
Oh, that makes sense. So
that
far,
makes perfect sense. I just thought they was down. Yeah.
Polyamorous is a fair description of them, also. Yes.
Well, that's best of both worlds. What? I'm still not clear on what the hell the blue Aja are.
So I consider myself a blue. They are the champions of causes, basically. So Moraine's cause, for example, is to find the Dragon Reborn and prepare him for the last battle. And it can be anything, some of them might want to like make sure there's stability in the realm or whatever. Like basically it's anything. They have the most robust network of eyes and ears, which is basically like they have an insane spy network, which helps them pull strings, if that's like something that's needed. And they are also like champions of justice, essentially. And so it's kind of like a arrow. One more time.
Yeah.
It's a pretty broad mandate.
It is. It's kind of like you make of it what you want to make of it, and that's kind of what I like about it. But they're also like justice is like important to them. Like so. Anyways, that's what I like to think of myself as.
What's the yellow deal?
What is the yellow's deal?
They're healers. They're the healing class.
Okay.
That's their main thing. It's basically all they do. Yeah.
Okay. Well. Moraine can also heal, though.
Well, right. Yellows are like that. That's their primary area of study. It's the thing they care the most about. It's it's kind of like you pick your Aja based on the thing that you're most passionate about or whatever. And so like the Reds, like they could heal people too. Presumably, like a lot of them. Some of them are more talented in healing than others, but their main thing is that they don't want men to hurt people with the one power, and so they go chase them down.
What? Like, so blues, greens. I like, why are the reds so, like, because it seems like a thing that you would just have certain people of other factions doing. Like, any of the other colors.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe you have a band of 5 who just goes and fucks up false dragons.
Yeah.
Why do you have a whole color for that? Like, I feel like Will would say that I'm red, but I'm not. Like, because like that seems, I would much rather be a green or a blue. Like, they'll seem way cooler and more fun and interesting. It just seems weird that an entire faction's goal would be, I have to hunt down dudes. That
Honestly,
seems...
it's like, I don't want to be a Red Aja apologist, but it's more like I want to make sure that everyone is safe. I want to protect the world from this corruption, from this taint, right? Because anyone can be born with, like, any male can be born with the one power, and it happens kind of a lot. Like, I'm not sure if you know this yet, but there is a character in the books who has a relative that could channel.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know already.
Oh, yeah.
So like that, it's not like super common, but it happens, like relatively frequently.
Yeah.
Well, I assume that in theory there ought to be as many men who need to be put down as there are just Aes Sedai generally, because like half the population, like assuming that the power is evenly distributed among the population, like men are still getting born with the ability to channel. It's just that side of the power is tainted, so they got to go.
So there's a much
smaller... Reddit, the biggest Aja.
It's one of the bigger ones. I'm quite certain it might be the biggest actually. I know somebody in the chat knows this, but so the amount of men that need to be put down essentially is probably about equivalent to the women who are born with the spark, and so the ones that will channel no matter what, right? Because there's you can learn to channel or you will channel, and so those are the people we're worried about.
Yeah, the Soldoms. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who
definitely need to all get put down. I would be a Red Aja to kill all of the Soldoms. Like, that I totally understand. Like, I would absolutely. What caused it to be that the men can't channel anymore?
The Dark One tainted that part of the power through Luz Theron?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, so like Luz Theron tried to get women to help him and his company. He was going to go out and do his thing and try and defeat the Dark One or whatever. And the women were like, no, this is stupid, right? And so he went off and did it on his own, and he like got so close to the Dark One or whatever that the Dark One touched that side of the power and therefore tainted it. And so he managed to seal him away, but in the process he got the whole side of the one power tainted. So.
That blows.
Yeah, it does.
Blows. Like, that's so sad because it's such a cool thing. Everybody should like get to have. That sucks.
It does. Yeah. And so that's why being the dragon is such a double-edged sword, right? Because on the one hand, you are necessary to defeat the Dark One, right? Without the dragon, there's no chance. But you'll probably break the world doing it and also go insane. And so it's kind of like, well, this sucks. Like, it's not a good fate at all.
Oh, you will probably go. I wasn't sure if Rand was just being paranoid about him losing his mind. So it is a thing that even the Dragon Reborn will lose his mind. Damn, that blows.
Well, he's definitely like he can tell that it's like he can feel the corruption of the, like when he's reaching out to.
Yeah, well, I feel like that was him being paranoid because he's paranoid all the time.
Fair.
I wasn't.
So I have a couple more questions. Let's see. Did you know anything about the series going into it?
I knew that there were a billion books. I knew that the author died before finishing them.
Yes.
I knew that there were some in the middle that people don't care for.
Wow, you knew about the slog already? I didn't tell you about that, did I?
No.
Okay, good.
Read it before. and then I think so. I think that people have mixed feelings about the non Robert Jordan ones. Was I? Maybe I'm misremembering.
No, I mean there are some. There are some. I don't understand them, and I disagree with them, but there are some for sure.
In terms of the actual content, other than sort of having a sense of like, it's fantasy. I didn't really know what.
Yeah, I knew nothing going in.
Okay.
Honestly, other than the brief little bit that you had said, which is that you must watch, and that they're Aja, and that's about it.
Okay. Well, actually, we didn't finish the Aja question. So, Greys are mediators. We didn't talk about them yet.
I'm not sure.
Seen Greys?
Maybe.
Okay.
Certainly not in any depth.
Yeah, we get to meet more Aes Sedai like as time goes on, because there are the Whites too, which I believe is the smallest, and they are like logicians and mathematicians, which to me, I feel like the Browns and the Whites can be combined. But yeah, no, the Whites are logicians and mathematicians. And who have we missed? Have we missed anybody? White, gray, brown, blue, green, red, yellow. No, we got, so which one do you think you are? So, like, the Greys, for example, also, like, will often be found, like, as the advisor to royalty, right? Because they're, like, mediators. They help negotiate treaties between countries, stuff like that. So they're, like, sort of lawyery.
Yeah, great. I was going to say, great sounds neat.
Yeah, because that's a lot of power. It's basically like a conciliary, right?
That's what it sounds, yeah.
Yeah, like, that's a good, legit power position. But I feel like my more likelihood would be green or blue, especially.
She's red.
I know. I told you he was gonna say that. I'm not red.
Mr. Kritter thinks I'm green, and it's like I'm pretty sure I'm the one that gets to decide. So I'm blue.
I don't know. Definitely, I feel like the blue having overarching cause of some kind of justice. Mm-hmm. Feels like a thing that I would like and that it lets you have more options basically because you can choose what your cause is. That feels like a thing that I would like.
Okay.
Also, the greens are chill. Like I could go either way.
Okay, see, we've got somebody on Twitch, Neem Heathrill's over here saying, I do have a Battle Aja vibe. Thank you. I would be a kick-ass blue at the last battle. It's not like you sit out. Like, I would have a warder, probably. Yeah. Wouldn't be my husband because he doesn't believe in warders. Oh, how do you feel about the warder bond, by the way? Have you learned a ton about it? I know we learn more as the series goes on.
I think in like the one or two, like in the very brief Marine chat, there's the stuff of like, oh, she could force Lan to do stuff.
Yes,
but doesn't.
And that's what Mr. Kritter hates. So how do you feel about it?
That seems uncool.
It does.
But like at the same time, I think, that you could but do not is good. Also, can the warders pick their ladies?
The tradition is that they have to say yes, right? It's like a very, 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 very taboo thing to take a warder without his consent. So he presumably knows what he's getting into when he says yes, and sees the sacrifice as worth it because of the good that will be done by their bond.
I feel about picking warders. What an it? Like I haven't even thought about that.
It seems like Lan left his birthright in order to become a warder.
Yeah.
Although I guess his birthright is like already within the
in shambles.
Yeah.
Within the corrupt.
The Seven Towers or whatever. Yeah.
The Blight has taken it, yes.
Blight.
Yes.
Right.
Indeed, yeah. So it's a tricky, the warder bond is, it comes with perks, where they are at all times, right? It makes you stronger, makes you fatigue less quickly. There's a lot of cool stuff, but then also you can be to do things, so...
It doesn't seem problematic in the way that, like, the Ciantian Soul Dom shit is.
Yeah, that's way worse.
It's not that. It's not, like, bad like
collar.
that. Yeah. It feels more like It feels more like kind of a night thing, like a house draft, like I'm sworn.
Yeah.
Or
there's a lot of
Skyrim, I'm sworn to carry your burdens.
In the first books that I see through the lens of, like, other fantasy stuff. Mm-hmm. So, for me, like... for some reason the Warriors read like Witchers to me. In that yeah, they're gonna like live longer and they're stronger, but also like with the Witchers, they're sterile and have their emotions dulled and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that sort of like trade-off thing.
Right. Yeah, it would be cool to have all those abilities, but again, not cool for the other stuff. Let's see, somebody had a good one. Oh, how do you feel about how the common people, you kind of alluded to this earlier with the White Cloaks, but how do you feel about how the common people perceive Aes Sedai? Right, because there's a distrust there for some people.
They seem to be terrified of them generally.
Well, they broke the world. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, it seems not insane. And also the Aes Sedai have done nothing to, at least not that we've seen. Yeah, they're not doing out.
Yeah. They need a PR person. That seems so obvious.
Yeah.
Like they're not trying to dissuade anybody, which I can understand because the scarier you are, the better. It's kind of like the Ciancian with the they're not as evil as this. They're not evil like the Ciancian, obviously, but like the fear works. But yeah, they're not trying to make people unafraid of them. It seems. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you think the distrust is warranted?
I mean, I feel like there's a lot that. I mean, like not that like the Aes Sedai are bad, but like, yeah, that it's not unwarranted. Or like you also get this with like why the Ciancian who have obviously taken it very far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I think that there's a part where the Soldam who's binding Egwene is like of course this is too much power to be left uncontrolled. This is the only responsible thing to do is to bind these people to protect everybody, and it's hideously monstrous. But also,
instead you're also using it as weapons. So
right, you're not just protecting everyone.
Well, it's power's got to be used, but you want to control it and have. Yeah, but then also on the other side having the Aes Sedai and the White Tower be as powerful as they are, having the ear of various monarchs and stuff. And they got magic powers and stuff. It's
normal to be afraid of that. I think it also should be more of a, they're not the Ciancian, and I feel like if this were in the real world, then you could talk to some Aes Sedai, and most Aes Sedai seem pretty chill. Like, if you went and talked to Varen...
I'm not sure I would describe any of the Aes Sedai as chill.
Moraine definitely doesn't seem chill in the books.
Yeah, I would call Moraine chill.
You're the ones who are sympathetic are not chill, per se.
But they're not bad. Like, I feel like if I went and talked to a bunch... If I got the opportunity to talk to a bunch of yellows and greens and blues and browns... Like, Varen, is that her name? The brown? She's a super extra nerd, but she's not a bad person, and she doesn't seem scary to me.
No, although it does seem like her main interest in going along with Rand is she wants to document what will happen as he loses his mind and is destroyed by the power.
I will study this. It's gonna happen. What's the harm in studying it? Okay, so we like Varen. Officially, she's a good Aes Sedai. Okay, I love that. I like her too. She's fabulous. Okay, so are there any characters that you really want to meet each other that haven't met each other yet? That's a question from Charlie Edmonds on Twitter.
I mean, I'd like some characters to meet each other again. Like, I'd like Leandrin to meet some characters again.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. I love that.
I'm trying to think of characters who just have not crossed paths at all.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like everybody's met each other. It makes me sad that they're
another one of my favorite characters is Tom Morellan, who is not in the second book very much, but I like him a lot.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah. He, what's funny is, I'll have to show you a picture of him soon when we see each other, because in the show he is kind of a smoke show. He's like a silver fox, and in the books I never pictured him as like actually attractive because like the long wispy white mustaches and like the spindly body. I don't know.
He pulled what's her face, the lady who gets killed by the assassins who get sent at the end of the or like partway through the book.
Yeah, I didn't take Tom as being spindly. Maybe it's called him spindly at some point, but like he fought the eyeless thing.
Yeah, the
like
draw. Yeah,
he was being kind of kick ass.
Yeah, he is kick ass for sure.
Yeah.
So
like he's a Gleeman, but I saw him as kind of like, you know, a stout fatherly figure.
I imagine him as being a little like Mark Twain like, but with a longer mustache.
Fun.
Okay. Mark Twain, love that.
But I also, when I'm doing this, I do him as like this is like a Shakespearean actor who takes himself very seriously and his craft and stuff.
I like that a lot. Okay.
Just some. Oh, he's a Gleeman.
Yes, a Gleeman, and he flutters his cloak. Okay, so I'm being told not to mustache shame, so apologies to all the Tom Maryland mustache apologists. So I guess I think we've already covered this in Neem Thrill, but as grown-ups, who do you want to have a nice bitch slap reality check session? As in, like, I guess you've already told us who you hate. Who do you want to be like, wake up, like, stop being what you're being? You know what I mean? Are there any of those?
I mean, I think
Rand.
Yeah, but I think Rand sort of gets that.
He's getting it finally at the end.
It seems like.
Yeah.
It's like, look, kid. I know you don't like this, but come on, you know.
Yeah. I think
you know how this is going.
I was exclaiming out loud multiple times during the reading that, like, up until the end of the second book, like, get it together, Rand. Get it together. You fucking know what you are. You know it. Just act right. Just do it. Just. Like, live your truth, man. You know it's true. You know, your dad is still your dad. You know, because there's a difference between bio dads and real dads. And, like, your dad is your dad, no matter what. Just accept that maybe he's not your bio dad. And that you have enormous responsibility now.
So you found Rand to be more annoying than Matt?
I kind of find Matt.
I find him endearing mostly.
I think
you are in for a treat then, because he only gets better. But go ahead.
I find Matt annoying to be around, but he's fun as the character. Like you just know that he's going to fuck things up.
Yeah,
he's going to.
You know that he's going to steal the dick.
Of course, he fucking took the dagger.
Yeah, idiot.
Of course he did.
He's always complaining and stuff. It's fun.
But he's also really sweet. Like you can tell that he really cares about the other, what did you call them? The Emansfield 5?
The Emansfield 5, yeah. EF5. Now you know.
Yeah.
Look at that terminology.
You can tell that he really cares about them, and he really wants to be doing the right thing. Kind of
just got a dagger problem.
Yeah.
He's a dagger problem. We call him Dagger Matt, actually. While he's under the thrall, like, of the dagger, he's hit. That's what we call him. He's Dagger Matt. So you're in the middle of Dagger Matt right now, I think, right? So, gosh, I have so much cat hair all over me. Let's see. Somebody asked something in the chat, and I lost it. I'm so upset. Gosh, I'm sorry. Oh, here we go. Elfwitch asks, what did you think of the flicker? Like, how did you like reading that, first of all? And then how'd you like the scene?
The different worlds that could be.
Yes. Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure what you meant just then.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I like that part. It's
cool.
Seeing these different versions of how it can play. I also like that we only see Rands, but we come out like everybody's obviously had their own
screwed up
version of that.
Everyone's just like, whoa, bad trip.
And I like that that's called back in Ingtar's Sacrifice, where it's like, oh, he's seen all these different things, and that is like really hit home of like him needing to make it right, what he's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the flicker scene was really neat, and it was very fun having him read it. Because, but yeah, I wasn't expecting that at all. I didn't think it was going to happen, but when it did, I was like, "Oh, that makes perfect sense." Like, that I get what's going on now. 'Cause they foreshadowed it, but I didn't process what it was going to mean. And it was like, that would be totally messed up. I think everybody would have to go to therapy for like a year after that.
At least.
It's especially resonant with, because like Rand is constantly, thinking like, oh, if only I
did this different thing.
Like, if only Miranda never come and take me away from this life. And it's like, well, no, like there are versions of the world in which that happened, and they're all worse.
Yes, you don't want to be there. Yeah. I liked it.
Okay, awesome. What is your favorite relationship? Like, two characters and how they interact?
That's a good question.
Also, don't forget in the chat, we are going to go for a little bit longer. So if you have any burning questions that they haven't answered yet, like, we'll put them in there, and then we'll try.
Now is the time.
Now is the time. Time is running low. Okay. Favorite relationship?
I mean,
mine is there was a while in the first book, and there hasn't been like stuff. This is the second book that I'm hoping I ship Perrin and Egwene.
We got a Perrin and Egwene shipper. Yes, they were cute in book one.
Yeah, that was good.
And like Egwene is like hitting on the gypsy guy, and Perrin's like uncomfortable about it. I do really like.
What are they called? The tree leaf?
The tinkers, or the traveling people. Yeah. It's Tuatha on. They have like 17 names. Yeah. Everything in Wheel of Time has like 17 names, but yeah.
That's a running gag that I really like, that Rand and Perrin are constantly
both think
thinking
that the other one
Rand
knows
what to do in this situation. He's good with girls.
I'm so glad you guys said that, because it is all a favorite trope like throughout the series. It's so funny.
It's good. I do enjoy that.
Okay, a Perrin and Egwene shipper. I am so happy you said that, because I want to say almost everyone, when they're reading, at least me, when I read the first book, I was like, oh, they're cute. Like, this is cute. I kind of like what's happening here, Like, anyway, so I agree with you, 100%.
And I don't know, I can't exactly pin it down, but early on, like, Egwene and Rand, it's not happening.
Okay.
Like, this is, I feel like the book has been clear about this is not a thing that can happen.
Yeah, well, like, there's a thing in the first book where Min is saying, like, oh yeah, you're connected, but like, you're not going to end up together.
Yeah.
And so and even though Rand like really cares about her, I feel like you can't ship Rand and Egwene, because you just know that it's not going to work. I
like the Nynaeve Lan
love Nynaeve
tension in the first book, where it's like,
I love that.
Like her being like smug about how she managed to like creep up on him without him noticing and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm a better tracker than you.
That was great.
Yeah, I love that too.
They're super sweet.
Okay. And, oh gosh, actually, go ahead, Tony.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and how later the heartbreak, like the sadness when he leaves is, and what is it? Your bride, your dowry.
Yeah, would be a funeral veil or something like that.
Bride price, I think, or something like that. Yeah, it's a good line. He's got some good lines. Okay, so there's a Wheel of Time version of. Oh, here we go. It's. Are you familiar with the game FMK? Okay,
yes.
So the Wheel of Time version of it is Bed, Bond, Balefire. Okay, so Bed, which is Bond, you get it. It's basically the same thing, but Bed, Bond, Balefire, regardless of sexuality, Rand, Matt, and Perrin.
I mean, you kill Matt.
What?
You marry
sorry. Okay.
I marry Perrin. I don't know. I would kill. Well, you have to allow Rand to live.
No. Okay. Don't worry about him being the dragon. First of all, like, just as people, like, let's assume they won the last battle and they're all three still alive. Okay. So we don't need the dragon anymore. Who would it be?
I think you marry Perrin, fuck Matt, and kill Rand.
I agree, except switch the Matt and Rand there.
I agree with Tony.
I feel like
Tony's right. I would kill Rand.
Well,
uh,
very though.
One more
Yeah,
time.
Parent is marriage material.
Oh, Perrin is
100.
yeah. Jessica Sadai agrees. Perrin is husband material, which I have been saying for a long time. Let's see. Dim Heathril is saying you would kill book 2, Matt, but as I said, Matt is just like he gets better. He's like a fine wine. He gets better with age.
I've continued to like Matt, even though he screws things up. But,
I like him as a character.
yeah,
I think I wouldn't enjoy spending time with Matt. I don't think.
well, like while he's in the extreme, cocaine withdrawal, dagger
just need to
mode.
hit a dagger.
Like, yeah,
It's a little taste. Come on.
you just gotta give him his hit or whatever.
Oh god, random moments like Rand just fought the last battle. Damn, like, just getting rid of him like that. Amazing.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sorry. Like we removed the fact that he's a dragon reborn from the equation. Let's see. I guess one of my favorite things about the books is the world building. I feel like it's an incredibly rich world. It gets bigger with every single book. Like, I want to say, somebody said this earlier, I think Tavir and Tavern said this earlier in the chat, where the first 3 books are actually kind of like a big prologue where it's like, we are showing you the characters, we're giving you the main players, and then the rest of the series is like, let's fucking go. You know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of like how it goes. And so the 4th book has a lot of world building too, but like up until this point, you've got a fair amount. How do you feel about Robert Jordan's like writing and his ability to craft a story?
Because I'm not reading it, it's a very different experience hearing a story versus reading it. And so I do know that at least in the first book, there were many times where like Will was having a hard time because there's a lot of weird words and specific terminology.
Yeah.
So I could imagine that for me, I was just chilling and making dinner. But I could imagine that it would be the first book would be a tough read. But for me, it's been very enjoyable. I didn't have a lot of concerns about it. There is some confusion because you're getting a lot of information early on. Mm-hmm. And even like the first section of the first book, you're like, what? Because it goes from the first chapter, the prologue thing, to the main story.
Yeah. And
I was confused for a while about like, what was that? What was that with Luce there? What was that? So like I feel like it could be a tough read in the beginning, mm-hmm. but I do like the world building of it. I like that you keep getting callbacks. It makes me want Control F for books because there are frequently names that come back that you're like, oh, what was that? I heard about that like 200 pages ago, and I want to know what that thing was. But I like the details.
Yeah, there's always been stuff like that where I have been like unsure, like because it's taken like it takes long enough to get through the book that like I can't remember whether certain things got paid off. Like the prologue of the second book, like I can't remember whether we ever figured out who that guy was.
Yeah. Bores.
Yeah, he calls himself Bores.
You eventually find out. I think I don't think you find out yet.
So that did not get paid off. Yet.
Not yet. Yeah, that's one thing about there's such a long series. Is like sometimes it takes a minute.
Because I keep asking Will almost every chapter towards the end of the book. I was like, but who's the guy? Who was that guy from the first chapter?
The man who calls himself Bores.
Yes.
That's who he is. That's all you gotta know. Oh, hi, Agni. What's up?
I'm guessing. I wonder if Celine was in that room.
That was my assumption.
Yeah.
Good question. So you guys, have either of you read The Lord of the Rings?
I started, so I not successfully. I started to read The Fellowship of the Ring after the movie came out and got some ways into the beginning, and then there was sort of endless going through marshes and mires and bogs and wetlands.
A lot of travel.
Like, I'm done.
Yeah, I think I read The Hobbit intending to get to the Lord. to get to the Lord of the Rings series, and I didn't get there. I know that I've watched the movies, but I did not read the books.
I had a similar thing with The Hobbit, where there was a lot of like talking about going for an adventure and not a lot of going for an adventure, and I had lost interest.
Okay, so somebody, random Noman, asked in the chat if you saw like similarities between book 1, The Eye of the World, and Lord of the Rings, and I guess since you've seen the movies, like, did you pick up on anything like that? Because Robert Jordan has, like, it's pretty obvious that, like, that book is sort of an homage to The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
That seems...
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, like, in ways that I'm not sure, to me, endeared it to me that much, because I got sort of the same vibe of, like, so sure, a lot of talking about doing something someday, or a lot of traveling without a lot happening. Sure are spending a lot of time on the road in this book. Yeah. And I feel like both books had a little bit of a, like, stuff happens and then it sort of drags a bit for a while, and it's like, okay, it's a lot of traveling, and then there's like cool stuff that happens again at the end.
Yeah.
Go back and reread it. I feel like I would be more tolerant of that today than I was as like a 13-year-old when I first read The Hobbit and started trying to read The Lord of the Rings.
I feel like I have sort of a reflexive aversion to like high fantasy stuff. Like I'm more of a Game of Thrones person.
Okay. Yeah.
Than a prejudice against elves, I guess. You know, magical creatures is like, I don't know.
Wow.
Okay. I'm very okay with magical creatures. I have no prejudice against high fantasy. It's mostly just the only thing that is like when you have the embodiment of evil feels kind of weird sometimes. But then again, I will say in this book, the Baalzamon character is like a really fun time.
Yeah. I enjoy doing Baalzamon stuff, but like, you know, characters like Baalzamon or Sauron, I don't find as compelling as like the Lannisters. You know, like these are people who are like
and
have
by
reasons
compelling,
for doing what they're doing.
you mean people you definitely need to kill.
Well, just, you know, they have more depth to them than just like, you know, what does it even mean to be evil what does it mean for Sauron to be evil when it's like it's outside of any sort of like, you know, human action? It's just like this is the embodiment of darkness and evil for the sake of evil.
I feel like,
I just don't
find
and
I'm not sure, but I feel like given the yin and yang thing that they got going on and the different sides of the power and the recurring nature of everything, I feel like that's going to get more interesting. Like, I feel like it will become more compelling. I feel like we're still in the prologue, kind of. Like,
because I feel like, you know, what's Baalzamon going to do once he turns the dragon to his side and destroy? And,
I feel like Baalzamon is necessary.
After all, endless darkness, and then it's like, now what do you got to do?
I feel like he's necessary.
I think he'd be bored.
He would be bored.
He lives for this, you know? What's he going to do if he doesn't have an incarnation of Luz Theron to be, you know, pestering? It's just, like, everything is darkness, everything is controlled by you, and everybody's Trollocs and Myrddraal.
I don't know. I feel like it's going to be, explained how he is super necessary, and he's not going to feel like the embodiment of evil. He's... Like,
I don't know. To me, it just feels like, I don't know. I know what Tywin Lannister's version of the world looks like and why he would want those things.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know Baalzamon's real motivations. I don't know that yet. But maybe he's got good reason. I don't know.
Hybrid Havoc says it's the old dog chasing the car conundrum. Like, once you catch the car, like, what are you gonna do? Exactly. Oh, somebody else. Okay. Carrie John says, she's very smart. I think she's talking about Tony, so she likes your theories. Let's see. Okay, so somebody on Twitter, this was funny. Hybrid Havoc on Twitter asks, the Wheel of Time trolley problem. Would you sacrifice one Bella to save the lives of the 5 Emonsfielders? If you recall, Bella is the horse.
Yes.
Obviously.
Wow.
That's not a hard trolley. As a philosophy major, I love the trolley problem. I would definitely sacrifice the horse. I would feel bad about it. I would hate it. I like Bella.
I'm kind of surprised you made it this far.
Wow. Okay, what if I told you there was a theory that Bella is the creator? Would that change the calculus?
That checks out. I mean, that would explain how she's made it this far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone's mad that you're killing Bella. It's so funny. There's a weird love, like, and I mean, like, don't get mad at me, guys. Okay, it's this funny thing that everybody thinks Bella's the creator, and this, like, I don't think it's serious, but maybe it is. But everyone loves her so much, so they really just
love
hated
the
you
horse.
with that one.
Bella is great, but you asked me a simple question, and the simple answer is I would say the 5 humans.
I did care a lot about Bella
in
the part in the first book with Perrin and Egwene. It's just like Perrin, Egwene, and Bella, and it's like, oh, gotta make sure Bella makes it through this.
Yeah.
Thanks for the MVPs for sure. Okay, so I guess, like, speaking of book 1, we haven't fully talked about it yet, but like you said, there's a lot of travel time in the middle. I love the Rand and Matt chapters in book 1 where they're like cuddling in bushes and like playing for their supper. So did you enjoy that part? Somebody asked it earlier, and I don't remember who it was, so sorry about that.
I did really like those chapters. I think they were a good time.
The Rand and Matt on the road,
having to sing for their suppers.
Yeah. That's like the better version of travel, in my opinion.
And that's also where you're getting stuff of like it's starting to piece together, like, oh, this thing happened because Rand used the power unknowingly.
Yeah.
And like he's sick afterwards because he used the power. And
the lightning bolts.
I think I know what's going on here.
Yeah.
There's something's happening here. Interesting. Random Noman says it's not a cult. They're talking about the Bella cult. We just hang out in the creepy lair with dark robes. It's totally fine. Everyone's saying I'm the Dark One's advocate. What the hell are you talking about? Just because I said Bella being the creator is maybe a joke. Come on, guys. What are you talking about? Okay, gosh. I don't have any questions that are like right in front of me right now. Oh, here we go. Taviran Tavern says Tony has a very Dr. Temperance Brennan vibe. I love it. Who is that? What is that from? I don't know the reference.
That sounds familiar. What is that from? Tell me.
Yeah, follow up. We need to know, Taviran Tavern. Who the hell is that? Okay, I guess... Oh, actually, here we go. We have a question. Dana Luhu asks, what do you think the role of the Forsaken is in the books? Like, how do you feel about them so far?
I can't... Well, so... They seem to clearly be in line with the Dark One. They're baddies. But, like...
From Bones, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
Oh! I knew it! I love that. I love that show, and I take that as a compliment. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tab. Okay, on to the Forsaken. How do you feel about them?
The Forsaken... they seem to just be like a dark council, basically.
They're like the original.
They're the OGs.
Yeah. But I sort of feel like they're diminished a little bit by like the first time that they're discussed is when the two of them show up at the end of the first book, and they're just dispatched quickly.
Yeah.
So sort of like, these guys seem like, I guess they're not so tough.
Yeah.
Fair.
But then
Okay.
Yeah.
Though, it was a little weird because like. I was not I obviously knew something was up with Celine, and I wasn't expecting her to be a Forsaken. I think in part because
I thought she was going to be a dark friend.
The first two I think are described as being like almost not zombie-like in terms of intelligence, but like living corpses, sort of very like old and withered because they're incredibly old.
Yeah,
are they immortal?
I think so, or like I think they're sort of immortal, but like Rand kills them.
Yeah, so like depending. On some things, like they can get, because it's a wheel.
They're not going to die on their own.
They can get spun back out in the pattern eventually, like Rand did, because he's, the dragon reborn. There was a dragon before him, who you met in the prologue of the first book. Okay, we've got somebody that just says predictions. I think I already asked them about their predictions. They think we're going to get more White Cloaks. And the Shan-Chan art gone. I guess we haven't talked much about Egwene. You said she hasn't done much yet. What do you see for her? She's my favorite character, so like...
Well, see, I keep waiting for something to happen, because I know you've said that Egwene is your favorite character.
Yeah.
But in the first couple books, it's like, she's not doing a lot, and...
It definitely seems like being made a Domine for a while is going to
I think that's going to work
trajectory.
Out. Yeah.
Because like there's stuff like it's like, oh, they taught me how to kill. I'm going to fucking use this. I'm going to use the tools they gave me.
Yeah.
In a way that there's stuff like, oh, like Aes Sedai don't use their powers for war. Even like, sure they do.
Sure they do. Yeah.
Except against Shadow Spawn.
Yeah. But Egwene, having been through this traumatic experience and also having been trained to use her powers,
Yes.
I'm curious whether because at the very end of the last book, when Rand wakes up, they've left. Like Egwene's not there anymore. Did they go back to I can't remember if they said they were going back to the White Tower or not, or they were going elsewhere. Because it's hard to imagine Egwene going back to be a novice and continuing her training after that.
I think they specifically said they're going back to the tower.
Okay.
Yeah. She and Nynaeve are going back to the tower. Because he's by himself.
Yeah, I knew that they were gone. I just couldn't remember where they had left to.
And I feel like he's I can't remember the exact wording.
I suppose they would have to, because they got to keep getting trained.
Yeah. Although now, Egwene will go back and be like, I'm the teacher now, bitches.
I'm the teacher now, bitches. I love that.
Yeah, I sort of could imagine, like charting a new path of like no, not going back to being a power user, but not being a official Aes Sedai sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you allowed to do that?
Well, I mean,
are you allowed to be a? Well, I mean, if you're Seanchan, because obviously the Soldames can use the power.
Yeah.
But I don't know if these people in the non-Seanchan area are allowed to use the power.
It doesn't seem like they Well, no, I mean, because women. Well, I guess okay.
Because they keep it secret.
Because girls who go to the White Tower and get kicked out, if they've gone far enough, get what's the word for neutered? Whatever the cutting you off the power.
They don't get stilled if they have to
gentle?
leave. Or gentle is for men, stilled is for women.
Okay. I thought that there was something of like, oh yeah, like if you come far enough in this, but you haven't finished it. If you leave, we're going to cut you off from the power. Maybe I'm imagining that.
I think that they can tell you that you're not going to go any further, and they can let you leave. But if you leave, if you run away without permission, then they'll get you and bring you back. Yeah. So that's how that goes. Random Noma says Egwene kicks the door open. Class is in session, bitches. Yeah. So one thing about the books for me is when I started reading them as a teenager, I at first was like, okay, we've got 3 boys. They're Ta'Viren. It seems like they're being put in front of me as the most important characters, even though there are all these women and they're powerful, and there are these girls that are going on this journey with them. I didn't love that. It's there's so much potential here for there to be more than just men as the main characters. One of my favorite things about the books is, as you said, it seems like Egwene's not doing a ton yet. She does some stuff. Obviously the struggle with the Seanchan is intense. But, as time goes on, she gets more and more stuff. And she grows. And it's you see all these characters grow in different ways. Rand, Mat, Perrin, Egwene, and Nynaeve. All of them. And so I can rest assured, you can rest assured that Egwene will not just be what she is right now. They will all change. And it's something that you can look forward to, because she's
yeah cool. I've been surprised because I figured so I know that you said your favorite character is Egwene, but as I've been reading the books, I was like, I can't believe your favorite character isn't Nynaeve. That feels more like your jam.
Yeah. Mr. Kritter says that I'm most like Nynaeve, but I don't think we would get along perfectly if we were in the same room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the issue. Well, what? Well,
I'm just kind of surprised because I feel like the book is setting Egwene up for. So the whole time, Nynaeve it's very clear that Nynaeve is an extreme badass. I don't know what kind of badass she is yet.
Yeah.
Her midichlorian count is very high.
Yes.
So many midichlorians, it's insane.
So I've just been surprised, and I feel like Egwene, they're setting her up to be at least Nynaeve's.
I feel like the implication is is the more.
Yeah.
Is that Nynaeve is remarkably powerful, but Egwene is.
But Egwene, through this horrible trauma, is going to Super Saiyan. And I don't know yet, and I don't know how that works. I don't know what the midichlorian count for Aja is.
They do explain further on, like, you can sense potential, and women who learn the power grow in the power differently than men do. There's like, so I guess that actually brings up like the magic system. How do you feel about the fact that it is like it's got two sides and they're gender based? Do you think that's like weird?
I think
There was something can't remember exactly what I was asking, because it was reminding me. I was wondering, like, what does the side and side dar imply about, like, the innateness of gender or whatever in this world? Because it was reminding me of.
Are there intersexed Aes Sedai?
Yeah, well,
that's the question.
That it was reminding me of the His Dark Material stuff, where there's offhand references to people who have daemons that are the same gender. Like, most people have daemons of opposite gender, but, like, some people do. And it's like, okay, this is, like, presumably
kind of a reference to gay or some
gay
sort of
or
LGBT.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
And I feel like we haven't seen any of that in this yet, and I wonder what the implications of that are, if it were ever to be explored.
If it ever is, yeah.
We'd be sort of surprised if it's, like, especially.
I would, based on the dates of the books, I would guess that we're probably not going to see a lot of intersexed and queer people. I don't know. But, like, I think even just on the straight up gender stuff, I feel like it's interesting, and I want to know more about, like, in the before times, back when both of them worked.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to know what that was like, because it seems like that would be really cool.
Well, you could build all the cool cities like Whitebridge and Toppat and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, I want to know what that would be. I find the dynamic really interesting. I just don't know what to make of it yet, and I'm trying not to have preconceived notions.
I like the idea of channeling and, like, the people as being, like, a conduit for this power that is, like, really alluring, but also, like, could just burn you to a crisp if you are channeling too much of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that seems cool.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's why all the women go to Tar Valon, because they got to learn how to do it right.
But they can murder themselves.
Yeah.
Or other people.
Because they take too much power in or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can burn yourselves out is what. So I told you guys an hour. It's almost been an hour and a half. So a couple more questions. If you could live, or, like, I guess either, what is your favorite, like, society or, like, region in the Wheel of Time? Or if you could, like, live as one. Think Tinkers, Ogier, Aiel, to the extent that you've met them, the Eamon's Fielders, the Kate, whatever, like, Aes Sedai, who would you, or Shanchan, I hope you say no to that, but whatever, like, what would be your lifestyle?
It's not going to be Shanchan.
What would your lifestyle of choice be?
It seems like living in the settings with the Ogier would be really nice.
That seems like the most chill option. And they live for a really long time, and they're very peaceful. I was the two people that seem the nicest to live around are, like, the tree people and the Ogier. And they seem related, and I don't understand how, because they both have, like...
What tree people?
The Tinkers?
The Travelers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They talk about the leaves. What's their way of life?
The way of the leaf. The way of the leaf.
Where it's
the
just,
way
like,
of the leaf.
It's like, not having conflict. We're just being carried along on the breeze.
No exception pacifism. Like, I don't think that's you, Tony. That seems like not you. I don't know. I'm glad to guess.
Well, like,
murder them all. Sorry, go ahead.
Drew, I mean, yeah, I know, but, like, if I had to pick a place to live, it seems like that, like, among those people are the best. I love the Ogier. Yeah. The Ogiers sing, and they seem like, I don't know, like this really good old-timey people who just live, like, they seem like people you just want to hang around. Like, everything goes good when Loyal is around, when you go to the steadings. It seems like this is where you want to be. It's like the Ogiers and Elias have a lot of, like, similar energies, as do the Traveler people. the Tinkerers. But if I lived in that world and I couldn't be in a setting, I think I would definitely be like an Aes Sedai in Tarvalon because I want to wield the power.
Right.
If I
Same. Will, were you Ogier? Was that your final answer?
Yeah, I guess.
You like to read a lot, huh?
Camelin seemed nice, I guess.
Camelin? Oh, yeah.
Karheim seemed kind of shitty.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're an Anderman if you had to pick a country. That's fair.
Yeah.
Who's he? What?
Andor is, well, that's
yeah.
funny. Like, you know, the show that's coming out right now. Literally, like, all the Wheel of Time people were like, we had Andor first. Yeah, Andor is like the country that Rand and Egwene and all of them are from, and Camelin is the capital of that. And Queen Morgase is the queen, and Elaine is the daughter heir. You get it.
Yes.
Okay. So I think we're gonna probably call it. This was so much fun. Did I traumatize you? Do you think you'll come back once you finish one or two more books?
One or two?
Yeah.
This wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be.
Okay, see, I said, like, the chat's nice, everybody's nice. It's just talking about books, you know?
Well, I'm sure you weren't reading to us the really mean comments, so.
Yeah.
There were no mean comments, like, none of, like, and I have mods, and I trust them explicitly, so they would get rid of mean comments without hesitation. No one would even see them. So, I guess, final words. Do you have any, like, last thoughts? We didn't cover something you wanted to talk about. Anything you want to say before we end the stream?
I want to learn more about the Isle people.
Mm-hmm.
The people that Rand is from.
Yeah.
We haven't seen enough of them, and I want to learn more about them. They seem really cool and interesting. I also want to see Matt, get off of his cocaine dagger addiction. I really like Matt, and I want him to come back and be okay. I also want to see more.
I'd like to learn more about the Trollocs and their unique customs and culture.
You would say that.
I think if that's there, then we would like to believe.
I do not.
Okay, excellent. That's a good goal. All right, so I wanted to thank you guys for coming on. I know it's a little nerve-wracking to be on a live stream, and we talked about doing this pre-recorded or doing it live, and I was like, I can tell you that my chat is awesome. And they were like, well, fine. No, that's not it. They were like, okay, let's do it. And so here we are. So thank you all for tuning in. This was really fun. I don't have a stream next week. But be looking, I'm editing currently a season review. Like, you guys remember the guy who was like, The Wheel of Time, a very bad show. Well, it's my response to that, so look forward to that. I already filmed it. I talk about a lot of random crap. So not crap, it's very insightful. So that will probably come out next week. And then in 2 weeks, will be in Charleston for the book signing for The Origins of the Wheel of Time, which I am super hyped for. I get to interview Harriet, so you'll be seeing that come out after the fact. But anyways, get hyped, everybody. It's time for Wheel of Time hype, and I'm really happy that I've got people reading it. And don't forget to tell all your friends to read it and loan your books out to them so we can talk to more people about the Wheel of Time going forward. Okay, sorry, I'm done rambling. Thank you guys for being here. This is incredible, and we'll be back soon. Okay, bye.
Having us.